Tail the tape, both guys 27, 1-0 apiece. Like I said, on paper, very similar. The shorter fighter is Leon Gavanas. Both guys bang on. And from top gyms, MMA Spirit and UFD Gym.
That height differential there was the number to watch. But, well, if you're flat on your back, height makes no difference. Oh, straight in with the low kick. Dolezal using that range, using that southpaw stance to throw curves for Gavanas. Gavanas closes it down quickly, which surprises me. I'd have thought he would want to bang his way out there, but look at Dolezal close this down with the clinch. I said he works well from that, but the power lies with Gavanas. Both rag rolling each other, trying to impose themselves, but I think if we see Dolezal take this to the ground, I think it's going to be a tough night for Gavanas.
I agree. We've definitely seen some really nice, especially from the amateur MMA ranks, moves, despite a mixed record from Dolezal's side. Interesting, pulls guard. Was that a guard pull or was that a little bit of a bump there? Either way.
Yeah, it looked like a bump. The power from Leon Gavanas pushing his man down. He's in top position here, and that's not a good place for Dolezal to be. Negated the height, as I say, straight away down to the ground in the horizontal, and just look at Gavanas, wastes no time getting to work, tries to get himself up on top and starts to put the power in the punches. And you just saw in the clinch there, the musculature, the biceps, the shoulders, they were powerful. You don't want to be behind this guy when he starts thumping you.
Exactly why the guard pull would have been questionable. But here you see the operation at play. It's a hand fight there between the right and the left arms, respectively. Gavanas wants to take his time. And I wouldn't even hang out here. I'd be looking to posture. Why mess around on the ground? Don't get connected, get disconnected. There we go, stand and pass. Beautiful.
Works his way round to top position here, throws a guillotine on, just to try and control and try and take the back. That's good control from Gavanas. When we think of him as a banger, he's right the way round, and that's not good. That was given up easily by Dolezal. And just look at Gavanas now go to work, uses his weight, tries to force his man down, and Dolezal needs to get out of this. Moves to stand up, but he's being held back.
Gavanas did a nice job of disallowing his left elbow from being controlled by Dolezal. It's a rudimentary attempt at taking the back, but it's efficient enough, and he got the go-around, like you said, off that guillotine, off that front headlock position. There we go.
Scrambling there, and look at this. Oh, this is submission territory. We thought that this was going to be stand-up. Referee looking very closely. Well, has he got a crank on the RNC or not? He was in trouble there for a while. And a bit of damage off the right ear for Dolezal. Gavanas really taking his time, choosing his shots. They go to the upright, but throws open guard. Dolezal, well, obviously thinks the strength lies on the ground. Just look at the musculature of Gavanas. Real difference here in builds.
Yeah, kind of an awkward moment. Dolezal quite clearly does want to bait him into something, but Gavanas also being smart and not taking that bait. There's always pressure. A lot of people have traveled to come and see you. You don't want to throw it away. But he nearly had that neck. It looked like he kind of did, but maybe it just wasn't quite deep underneath the chin. Can be tricky.
The knee strike goes in, and really, we're not seeing what Leon Gavanas is capable of. High leg there from Dolezal, and I say capable of in the kickboxing department. But he looks a little bit as if the energy has been expended a little too much for this stage of the game. And Dolezal quite comfortable throwing punches and high kicks. Gavanas, if he can get the kickboxing working and the power in those punches that we know he's capable of, well, that could be a showstopper. Right, they're throwing now. It looks a little unsettled, Leon Gavanas.
It was exactly my read, which is why I was wondering, why on earth would you waste energy on the ground when you have the upper hand, when you have the knockout rating, 3 or 4 fights in boxing, KOs, you know, high knockout rating in kickboxing. Why mess around?
Takes a big left hand through the middle, Gavanas. Dolezal uses that reach advantage to poke through the middle. And Dolezal takes it back to the wire. Gavanas uses energy to get in there. Half a minute left in this first round. It's been very interesting, actually, to see the range of kicks and punches that Dolezal has at his disposal. But Gavanas using strength here as opposed to technique to try and bull his man down to the mat, which is what he did before. Had success with it. Just using energy now.
Exactly, a misappropriation of resources here. I'm not sure why he's wasting energy in the clinch. He can do clearly a lot of damage on the outside, but he seemed a little bit slow.
We're on the 10-second clapper. We're up on the end of the round. Right on the end, a big right hand from Leon Gavanas. Sven Dolezal makes his way back to the corner. Gavanas, maybe a little rethink. So we'll get a read on much of that play. And we see a little tail of the tape when they run the highlight of that first round. Chris, good action.
Good scrambles for sure. Gavanas going around to the back. And there we thought absolutely he had a submission in hand. It seemed like Dolezal was toast, but you could see probably what occurred was the grip on the left elbow. Again, it's been a battle of the elbows a couple of times to get some of the relief on the attack of the Marcelo Garcia style RNC. Back to the upright. Gavanas looked a little bit ungainly, like you said, I thought.
We go to 2. And again, a surprise. We thought we might see something just a little bit more spectacular from Leon Gavanas, given the KO record that he has, both boxing, kickboxing. Let's see how that plays out in MMA. That's the real curveball for a fighter, that transition. So 2 of a Schedule 3 here at middleweight. Sven Dolezal, fighting blue. Leon Gavanas fighting red. Both German fighters, but Gavanas claims Greek heritage. And he's being picked off, given that he's the kickboxer with the low kick.
Yeah, Dolezal landed a nice clean left. There was one good punch, but the distance just broke down again, which again is just completely illogical to me. If somebody's finding their mark and finding the extension of their punches, why on earth would you go inside and take away the leverage and power?
Absolutely, and it doesn't seem as if Leon Gavanas is quite as comfortable as he'd like to be. Uses his strength well there, though. That was a good bit of technique. Finds himself on top in half guard, and from here he can work.
Yeah, it was good use of the double overs. I'm just, again, a bit surprised. Once he gets a little bit of an advantage, he just backs off, almost like there's only this little bit of bursting energy available.
Yeah, working well from that top position. Firing in the forearm. Listening to his corner, Gavanas. And he's happy to hold that position. Uses his weight well, doesn't he? He's really pinning Dolezal down. Heavy on the top. And look at that crossface, making life very difficult for Sven Dolezal. And grimacing there as that thunders in the elbow. And he knows what he's doing, Gavanas. You can see a grin on his face, wearing his man down. This could be, well, a good early start to this second round.
Yeah, the hip pressure's good. However, the power generation is less than optimal when you're that close to somebody and kind of sprawled. So what he really should do is consolidate the position, come in a little bit tighter on the hips, posture up, and then look to punch if he can get good leverage, or just try and pass. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Clear the leg. Now go to work.
Good, strong side control. And as you said, Chris, the hips much closer. He's in total control here. And this is a wake-up call for Sven Dolezal. He really needs to try and relieve this position. But Gavanas working so well, and he's got 2.5 minutes left in which to do it, at least.
All of these elbows are definitely thudding in nicely. More. That's all we need is about 3 or 4 good ones, and then he can probably just try to posture up or maybe go knee on belly. You know, even allowing possibly Dolezal a chance to move a touch could be good.
Oh, that's beautiful. That side control position, he put his weight high up on the chest and managed to cross into that mount position, but he's given it all up. I mean, that was crazy how he managed to slip off that, but he was thrown by Sven Dolezal. He managed to slip, and we're back into the upright. So all that work has to be redone again, but great point scored.
Yeah, definitely. But a little bit too easy for Dolezal to get out of there. Again, sometimes you want to let your opponent move a little bit or flow with the positions as you generate power and look to land ground and pound and get the meaningful, impactful strikes. But again, too much space. And Dolezal has an opportunity. A get out of jail.
So up on the wire. And still using what I would consider to be too much energy and strength. Leon Gavanas keeping Sven Dolezal in that position. Good underhooks though from Dolezal on the right hand side, but you'd expect that from the taller man. And referee Sintic breaks them. Big left hook flies over the top. Nostradamus could have predicted that. We saw it coming way off. And good underhooks from Sven Dolezal. His turn to dominate, but he's turned. And Gavanas leaning into that, really putting pressure on Dolezal. So the action slowed down now as they position. I'm so surprised that Gavanas hasn't used those boxing skills out wide to try and bring in some heavy shots in the heat, which is probably the wise thing to do. Doesn't want to throw and leave himself open, but they're big and lumpy, those shots, when they do come.
It's difficult to say. Maybe there were some nerves coming out. Maybe he had a bad warm-up, maybe a bad weight cut, maybe an injury. It seems a little bit uncharacteristic, though, in his performance here. I don't want to call it underperforming, but it's not quite where I think he could go.
Yeah, and he does look just that little bit uncomfortable. They both do now, and I think maybe they've both used a little more energy than they wanted to or needed to. But we're just on the 10-second clapper in the second round. It's another bout that's going the distance on a card that when you and I looked at it, Chris, we thought, well, yeah, we think this is going to go one way. And I have to say that Gavanas, with that KO history, was one of the ones that we predicted as being finished. Hey, but they ain't over yet. We go to 3, surprisingly so. Action in that, hard to score, but more about positioning and control. Maybe a neutral round. It's hard to say where the scoring is on this course.
Yeah, I'm a little bit lost. You know, and it could even come down to not only looking at effective striking, and grappling, but then aggression. The judges may default to that because, of course, they're going to look at effective striking and grappling first, and if they can't decide, move on to the second criteria. There on the outside, good clash of straight punches. There was very limited exchanges because as one fighter started to really find momentum, they kind of threw it away. This was much better, though, from Gavanas on the bottom. I think he took that round. I think he definitely took that round with the elbows he landed here, for example.
Well, when a fighter has got bruised and bloodied elbows, you know he's had some success during that round, given that he had side control and top position for most of the round. Third and final in this middleweight clash, the last of our preliminaries here at FNC 27, coming to you from Munich, live and direct. Sven Dolezal fights blue. Leon Gavanas fights red. It's the final 5 minutes to decide whether decisively or by way of domination who wears the crown in this matchup.
I'm curious if either corner said, look, we need more. It might be tied, and you need something much more convincing.
Slick hands from Sven Dolezal just there. And I just can kind of see Leon Gavanas when he winds up a big strike. You kind of see it coming. He's not thrown heavy shots. He's not been packing meat in any of the exchanges. He's been happy to go to the ground. This time it's him that succumbs in that tussle. Out of the 3, he's had 2, but just look at this. He gives up his back, using a lot of energy to keep Sven Dolezal at bay. And I mean, you know, it looks as if it's easy to deal with Dolezal, and he's had success, but I'm sure it's not. And we can see now Dolezal starting to go to work here.
Yeah, his corner would have said, look, all or nothing here. Use all of your energy. And they would have said exactly as he got back exposure there. Let's get control here. Let's really consolidate this position, because you get the feeling like one good move or two could really turn the tide in this round and make it definitive for either camp.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, the crowd are getting restless, but the wrestling here is top level. Everything is being spoiled. And actually, it's top level grappling we've seen. Nothing scrappy or high-level work from these two. The only surprise for me, as I say, is Leon Gavanas and that KO ability. Maybe wrong or rightly, if I was the corner, I'd have been saying to them, lure him into a left hook or a big right hand and see if you can drop him early. But he's not done that. He's happy to go the distance, and they've traded grappling very well here. In fact, at very high level and very entertainingly so.
I think the ref is very much considering a break here. There we go. That's a very well-timed break. They've had to do it a few times, and the fighters were neither in either corner working to improve their position.
So halfway through, third and final. Still on his toes, Gavanas. Perfunctory kick there from Dolezal. But for a kickboxer, for me, Gavanas hasn't been convincing. There's the right hand, it goes in. But he could have committed to that. Spinning back fist, we saw that in training from Dolezal. And of course, Gavanas was there to eat it. Works his way in, gets thrown, and this is critical.
Lateral drop, beautiful, perfect. Gavanas is exhausted right now. This might be exactly what Dolezal needs to finish this fight. 2 minutes, side control, effortless. But don't just sit here. Don't let him break posture and hang on to you like this. You know, where is the attempt to try to wrestle up out of here? You can see him really trying to step through here and consolidate his position by connecting his hips. Sometimes when you can't fight the arms, you can fight the legs, and that's exactly what's going down here. But Dolezal's just got to be a little bit slicker here. Very smart not to cross over, because that would have allowed potentially Gavanas to get back up to his knees, and that's exactly what he's done now. His corner would have called for him to go back around to the right-hand side.
Well, surprisingly, Leon Gavanas managed to turn, managed to lock Dolezal out, and gets to his knees, then to his feet, but that took up a lot of gas. But what it's done is reduce the time now that Dolezal has to work in the strongest position that I think he plays from, and that is on the ground. And, you know, Gavanas still very much in this. It's been very evenly matched given the two opposite skill sets. I said it's been very entertaining wrestling, but the referee has had to intervene a couple of times. Gavanas lacking technique to take his man down. I would have liked to see a sweep or a hip throw. He's just ragdolling his opponent down, using strength and leverage. But of course, he's got the hench and the muscle to do it. But I'd like to see that energy and effort in a punch or a kick, and he just got caught by Dolezal there from a midsection kick, which you'd have thought would have come from Gavanas, given that you know, he's got that European kickboxing champion WKU heritage.
Exactly that. If there's enough strength in the bank for Gavanas to get up like that, but not enough technique to do anything with it from there, that's the issue. And on the flip side, Dolezal was exhausted. He had a couple of really prime positions and just couldn't do anything with it. You could see the mouth was wide open. Tough fight for both.
Well, looking strong, Leon Gavanas. The crowd maybe not as convinced as he is that he's taken the W here, but I suppose if you're in there and you've had 3 hard ones, then yeah, you kind of got a sense for the moment. I actually think Gavanas has done enough, marginally.
I think he might have too.
We'll wait and see what the judges say. Again, surprising this went to judges' scorecards, given that boxing KO and the kickboxing KOs that's had. But anyway, listen, this is MMA, it's a different game.
Let's take a look at some of the clinch control here. Gavanas with the shoulder bump on the right, comes back out and lands a left, but it's like an arm punch. There, the knee around the outside of the guard. That was nice placement there from Dolezal. He had some really good moments, especially there on the back. Dolezal spinning from the outside with the spinning back elbow. There were some meaningful, impactful, certainly damage and dominance-inducing shots.
Yeah, Gavanas connected, didn't he? A couple of times there, good and clean. The knee strike could have been a showstopper. The spinning elbow could have been a showstopper. But coulda, woulda, shoulda. Well, let's wait and see what the judges think of it all. Nevertheless, if you've joined us for this bout, you'd have joined FNC.TV for the pay-per-view delivery of this event. We're waiting now for a hand to be raised by
and so,
referee
ladies and gentlemen,
Sintage.
at the end of those 3 completed rounds of action, we go to your judges' scorecards. All 3 judges scoring this contest 29 points to 28 in favor of your winner. In the red corner, Leon Gavanas.